definitely both directions. Where are we? This is so cool.
Make sure you're not claustrophobic. So we are heading back to the road trip now for part 3, where we're going to be exploring Cholula and the largest pyramid ever constructed in the world, which was an amazing experience. So if you guys are new to this channel and this is your first time here, give us a thumbs up. If you like our video, leave us a comment. And if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing here in Mexico, hit the notification button below, and that will keep you notified for what we're doing here. Right now, I also want to give a shout out to one of our younger fans, Zonia from China, who's one of my VIP kid students, and she's been practicing her Spanish. But I just want to say hi, Zonia. If you guys are interested in making money while traveling, we have found that VIP Kid has been a really great resource for us, which I've been doing for about a year, all over the world. So we wrote a blog post on it. We're gonna put a link below. Check it out, and if you have any questions, let us know. And I hope you enjoy the video. We'll see you on the road.
Today, baby? The 12th. Good morning, guys. We are in our beautiful Airbnb in Cholula, Puebla. Really fell in love with this place last night. Walked around a little bit. Nate was teaching. Went and got us some food at this place called Osho. Such a beautiful place, like so enchanting and magical. And then to wake up sort of in this like almost feels like a greenhouse, to be able to see that main church on top of the pyramid that looks like a mountain or a hill. This place is just incredible. So really excited to have some coffee. If you guys are interested in like stuff that we typically do when we travel, it's always nice to have like a little bit of a routine, so something that you can rely on or look forward to no matter where you are. So for me, that's coffee. For Nate, I made him some black tea. It's just sitting down, having like a few minutes to journal, just sort of ramblings and thoughts, stream of consciousness writing. So I've been doing this thing called The Artist's Way for the last few months, and it's been amazing. I would definitely recommend that book if you are looking to amp up your creativity. It's by Julia Cameron. A lot of it is about recovering like what you naturally already have. Maybe you stopped painting like a long time ago and it's something you always want to pick up again. So it's really, really good for that. One of the things she has you do is morning pages. So you write in your journal 3 pages, stream of consciousness writing. And it also just really helps me with like planning and reflecting and even blog post ideas and stuff like that. So good day, beautiful outside, perfect weather. Really happy to be here.
So we are in our first day in Cholula. We just left the Airbnb. I taught this morning at about 4 a.m. I got some good rest. Now I am up and ready to look around and see what the place has to offer. Right off the bat, right across the street from our Airbnb was this amazing church here. So we're gonna check it out, and then we're gonna walk around, get some coffee, and find the pyramid. So follow us. the back end of the church. It must have been a really big pyramid. And we don't know for sure, but we did hear that there are tunnels underneath that you can take a tour of. So we're gonna check those out today.
I'm at the bottom of the Cholula church, so underneath is this pyramid. We're gonna find out more about the people who built it, but I'm not sure if they're Aztec or what indigenous group, but super interesting, sort of visual representation for the history that's happened through Mexico and kind of all throughout the Americas, where the Spanish came in and they were the conquerors, and they built their structures on top of other very important religious structures. So very, very interesting, also very sad. It's so cool too how this pyramid, because the grass and everything is grown over, it really looks like a giant hill or like a small mountain. Let's go check it out. The Olmecs were one of the oldest indigenous groups in Mexico. They had really strong traditions and a strong religion, cosmology, and way of life. And their way of life and their culture definitely influenced later indigenous civilizations such as the Mayans and the Aztecs. So the Aztecs apparently, according to my history, were a little bit later in the big scope of things. So I believe that they kind of reached like their pinnacles, like definitely AD, I'm not sure the exact dates, but they started to build on top of and conquer kind of this area, or like dominate this area. But before that, it was like Olmec, and then we read a whole bunch of other people in this area that kind of would build over this structure over and over until it became bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's really interesting. It's like behind every layer, underneath every layer of this building, it's like another more ancient civilization.
And the Spanish put the cherry right on top.
The Spanish being the last sort of conquerors of this area. Yeah.
Cholula was influenced by the Teotihuacan architecture style, which is sloped walls or sloped sides with straight up and down walls. And they found murals here. They found murals, and they had paintings of the feathered serpent, which his name was. So where this pyramid sits, there used to be a lake, and fed by volcanic ash, the soil here became very fertile, and people were growing food all over the place surrounding this pyramid here. This was what they think was a representation of the hills where they used to perform ceremonies for their agriculture. They recreated this as a representation of those hills. They would offer human sacrifices and offerings to the god of water, the rain god known as Tlaloc. So, just like today, water was extremely important. They knew that then, and we should know that now.
So we right now are standing on top of the altar's courtyard. So it was 18 feet down, 80 meters wide. Essentially, they found lots of different offerings. They had stelas for the gods, and they would find offerings of seashells and burials. They also found paintings and like murals on the walls with stripes of red, blue, and black, and stars with 4 and 5 points. So really, really interesting just how much has been built on top of this, but also preserved. And yeah, I kind of want to see more.
Let's look 18 feet down. So maybe it's right at the bottom of that hill.
That little gully.
Two economic booms, one between 0 and 250 AD, and a second one that returned after trade routes were established with the Maya of the Yucatan and Guatemala, and then also the inhabitants of Oaxaca. We had obsidian here, which was used for knives and art and a lot of different things, as well as pottery. But they were a huge economic power in Mexico, the Cholula was, before the fall of Teotihuacan.
Awesome.
I hope I did. behind me in building number 3, they found a very long mural, which is actually being preserved right now because of its because of the state. But it's called the Mural of the Drinkers. Here it is. Here's a recreation of the Mural of the Drinkers, where it's basically a depiction of a Good Friday night. Drinking, actually men and women, which is very rare. So, sounds like a typical Friday night. It's like a wild party.
Wow.
But they were doing this back in the day. So welcome to Cholula. Not Chamula.
So this is building number 2, and what I find interesting here is the relationship between most indigenous people in the Americas and the way they constructed their buildings. In this building, they obviously use stones, but they also mix that with adobe, which is actually used up in New Mexico, where I'm from. A lot of indigenous people in New Mexico, including Puebla Native Americans, use it. Adobe is basically this mixture of what you'd find in the earth, sand, clay, straw, mixed with water, and it makes really cool bricks. So they used that to construct these buildings along with stucco on the wall, which was composed of lime and sand. And then they also found designs of sea stars and shells, which shows the relationship with the Gulf Coast and Cholula. And we're actually not that far from the coast. We just drove from the coast of Veracruz yesterday. So it's very, very interesting to see all of the interconnectivity of indigenous people up and down and around the Mesoamericas. So let's keep exploring.
Just to let you know, there are 3 different museums here. One is the archaeological place, does not have the tunnels. You have to go to a second place, a second area, which is the tunnel museum. So just make sure you know what you want to see if you're short on time.
He's like, let's go into the Grutas one. The tunnel's completely free. So let's go in. We got really lucky.
That's a really good tip. Well, it's looking really, really cool.
In a cavern that bears, oh my god, it goes like indefinitely both directions. Where are we? This is so cool.
Make sure you're not claustrophobic.
I could just imagine this might have like gone way up somewhere. This is bizarre.
It's the pyramid. Now it's getting a little shorter.
You want to keep going and come back?
Yeah. Look at me, hon. I get a little smaller.
It's like feels so good in here.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
Oh my goodness.
I'm starting to feel it right now. I'm starting to feel a little claustrophobic. It's getting smaller and smaller. Look.
Oh, look, it's like real. Now it's like more hard.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I think around earthquakes, around volcanoes, is it?
Are these like
Here's the camera.
this little alcove? Looks almost like an altar. This is very tight.
Alright, here we go.
Into the abyss.
Yeah. It's like a little entrance for a little stairs going.
Oh my gosh.
This is honestly unlike anything I've ever seen in my whole life. It's almost like being in the caves in Egypt or something. This is all underground and it's quiet as you could hear a pin drop. So it's really insulated, a little claustrophobic. If you're like 6'5" or taller, I would say, because I'm 6'3" and I'm almost to the tip top with push. You know, a couple inches going down, but this is so cool. We are underneath the Cholula pyramid right now, tunneled underneath to make a series of, we don't really know exactly what it is. It seems like some entrances and exits. Really amazing. I mean, to see this, wondering how old it is and that it's stayed for however long it has.
I feel like we're in Indiana Jones. This is insane. Like, what's up there? There's probably like altars with jade and who knows. That's so cool.
Hi, you have to see this.
I'm coming.
So this goes further down. So if you look down here.
Whoa! People have thrown lots of coins. Oh
And
my
then look
god.
how far it goes up.
Whoa. Imagine like these pyramids are a lot more than they seem on the outside. Because you know a lot of the ones like down in Yucatan were built on top of cenotes.
It goes down. I mean, it's just so cool to think about that it goes down further than that. I would go down into it, but I don't know if I would. I feel like I would need to get out. I like right now. I feel like I need to get out.
And there's so many of these tunnels, and they all look the same.
Yeah, you could get really lost.
This place is incredible. If you come to Cholula, you have to. I mean, the archaeology thing was really cool because it gave you history and a context for this place, but this by far is the coolest thing I've seen here. It's amazing. So here we are at Cholula. We got in for free.
Pretty good offer.
And now we're back in the sunlight.
Ah, okay, here we are. So what was your impression?
Just, again, one of the probably top 5 things I've done in my life. It seems simple. It only was like 10 minutes, but something you will just never ever forget. You have to come see it if you come to Cholula. It's just so many layers of history and different cultures and random, you know, Spanish cathedral on top. It's just, this is bizarre. There's so much history here. You have to come. Cholula. Some religious holiday. Of course.
Oh, the erupting volcano.
used to these hills in Merida.
Imagine being the person when building this pyramid who had to be the last person to carry the last rock up here. Just struggling to carry my backpack. What do you think? If you're in Cholula and you have kind of a lazy morning, this is a perfect way to spend the day. We don't have too long here because we're going to be heading to Mexico City next. This was a great way to spend the day. You get to see a lot. We're going to go try to grab some food now before we hit the road again. Overall impressions of Cholula so far have been wonderful. It's just been really, really nice city, great people, and we can't wait to come back.
I think I have had this. Here. Okay, this is pulque. Cheers. Saludos. This is what we had.
With agave.
Yeah, it's like kind of sweet. It doesn't taste very alcoholic at all.
Agave.
Agave?
Pulque. Pulque.
Planta
Es como, bueno, es como una bebida que la sacan de una planta y le van quitando todo el sabor del jugo.
Ah, ok. Muy delicioso.
VIP kid. Never stop working.
A lot of balsamic on this one. We'll see how it tastes. So right now we are at this place called 830. It's in Cholula, and it was one of the first places I saw last night when I was walking around. And at night it's so magical. They put candles everywhere. Love, love, love this place. There's so many different little areas to sit. It feels very, it's like a patio with very outdoorsy kind of elements and plants and lights, and yeah, the food is really good. So excited to dig into some pizza. How is it?
It's good. Good food after a good day of walking.
Look at the walls, honey. I love like that, I guess it's like exposed brick.